Hi guys, welcome back to Sunday League to Champions League. My name is Chris, aka Big Will, and today we have games at home against Hibernian and away against Rangers. As you can see from the league table to the right of your screen, we're having quite a good time of it at the moment in the league. We've played 4 and won 4. We've actually converted our tactic to a positive mentality. It's the only thing we've changed about it. But it does seem to be helping us in the long run. After that unfortunate loss in the European games, we've gone on to beat Kilmarnock, Hearts and Motherwell in the league, with Gary Parra, Almasi and Polidoro all playing superbly well throughout so far. However, with the games against Hibernian and Rangers, especially the latter, I think we could be in for a couple of tough tests. Um, like I say, things have gone quite well, and we continued to struggle in terms of the transfer window. We didn't end up having anyone else leave the club. Helder Sarr, I think I did confirm previously, he's yet to actually play for us. He picked up an injury, so the £350,000 move for him so far hasn't yielded any appearances. We've ended up with a few loan deals go through for leaving players leaving the club, but they're all reserve players. It's not affected the first team in any way. So unfortunately, with the frustration of the transfer window, like I say, we've not really been able to do an awful lot, and we just have to move on from it and see how we get on. We are making one or two changes to the starting lineup today. Stashevsky is in goal with Digberiku, Graham, Kinnernes and Ashcroft at the back. O'Donnell, Kesgin and James are in midfield with Polidoro and Cudjoe out wide with Gary Parra up front. Almasi is going to be on the bench today, but he has led the line super. In fact, to be quite honest, I think we'll have Almasi up front. Cudjoe hasn't been playing too well recently. He is a player I've thought about selling, but when it comes to European qualification, he's homegrown at club, so he's a very important part when it comes to that kind of thing. I know we're not in Europe for the rest of the season, but if we're to qualify next season, for example, it's something that we are going to be have to be mindful of and look into further. As you can see, there's a few injuries in there with Fraser Sharp and Sirkin out injured and Sarr unfit to start. So Digberiku has to start at left back, unfortunately. It's a bit of a weak spot for us for the time being, but once players start getting fit, we will have extra options in there. But first and foremost, we have this game at home to Hibernian to deal with. And then we get to the more serious test, of course, which is Rangers away from home. And it'll be a really big test, that one, regardless of the circumstances from this game. We want to certainly continue the form that we've shown so far in the league. 4 wins out of 4 has been outstanding. And if we can continue in that vein, I think we'll qualify for Europe again for next season, to be honest. Rangers have already dropped points in a couple of matches, so we have got a little bit of a gap to them. But at the moment, Hibernian is sat in 5th place, and Gary Parra there, Gary Rapper, sorry, I always get that name wrong when I'm saying it, has opened the scoring for us here after just 2 minutes from wide right. He's certainly been very influential on the wing for us recently, and in terms of having Almasi up front, the big 6'6" striker, he's doing really well at knocking the ball down and bringing other players into play as well. He seems to have settled in quite quickly, the Slovenian man, so we're doing quite well with him up there. As Gray here has the throw. Polidoro wins the header, finds Almasi, Turner manages to win possession, and it's back to the goalkeeper Johnson. And now Goodmanson. Looking to knock it forward, here's Howe. Good interception by Azak Kesgin. Kesgin, by the way, I wasn't entirely sure if I'd have had plans for him this season or not, to be honest, but he has come in, and even in the European games as well, he scored in each of the second round qualifying games against the Moldovan side, and he scored a league goal as well so far. He certainly seems to have really upped his game for the start of this season. Polidoro here into Almasi, and now Jordan James. He's chipped it over the keeper, and it's his third goal of the season already, Jordan James. We're 2-0 up here after 18 minutes, and our good form certainly looks set to continue. As I was saying before, funnily enough, about the form, yeah, Hibernian currently sat on 7 points while we're on 12, and Hibernian sat in 5th place in the league at the moment. So if we can get a convincing result against them, it will show exactly where we're at. The core of the team has stayed the same, of course. We've only managed to bring in 1 or 2 first-team players, and it's a bit of a funny situation. I wanted to make changes in the transfer window, but it just didn't quite happen for us. And so far, that would appear to have been a good thing. Um, the teams certainly know each other quite well, and the players we have brought in seem to have settled in very quickly as well. It's Kesgin with a brilliant pass to Guararappa, and Goodmanson's brought him down on the edge of the area there. I'm not sure if that's going to be a penalty or a free kick. The referee's given a penalty for the moment. The penalty's been awarded, so it was in the penalty area. As Stashevsky, our goalkeeper, is still one of our better penalty takers, so I've kept him in that role. His chance for his first of the season, and he scores 3-0 up. 36 minutes gone. Our keeper with his first goal of the season. He scored 4 goals last season from the penalty spot, I think, if I remember rightly. And we have dominated this first half. We had 3 shots on target, therefore they've all been converted. And we're doing very well at the minute, it has to be said. I wasn't expecting quite such a strong start, especially after that um, slight drop off in the European game. But we're in a position here where we can build on this. We've done very well so far, and if we can continue in this vein, I think we can be challenging possibly even for Europa League rather than Conference League. And as good as that would be for the club financially, it would only be good enough financially if we could qualify for the main part of the competition, which obviously we haven't done this season in the Conference League. So there's certainly things to think about. Almasi with a header there, just about claimed by the Hibernian goalkeeper Johnson. Very unlucky for him. But yeah, we've got all these different things to think about. The fact that we've managed to keep the likes of Stashevsky in goal as well, considering there were some big teams in for him. Same with Stefan Lulic, there were some big teams in for him as well, but they didn't want to go to those clubs, and it's worked out quite well for us in the end that they have stayed. We are going to just have a look at some substitutions, I think, here. Polidoro's had a bit of a poor game. He's had a good start to the season, Polidoro, but he's had a bit of a poor game today. We are going to bring Lulic on for him, and Quinones is on a yellow card, so I think we'll bring Pereira on for Quinones as well. Quinones has dropped in quality slightly, but he is starting to get that little bit older, and he's one of the older players in the squad, in fact, so it is something that we may have to look at sooner rather than later, should the right player become available in the transfer window. Also, it should the right player sign for us in the transfer window, of course, because we were after Billy Kumetio, who originally came through Liverpool's youth academy. He ended up signing for a championship club, if I remember correctly. Now, he's come on quite well in game. Obviously, this is season number 6 now. He's developed into a very good player, and he's 6'5", so he's a powerhouse of a centre back. But unfortunately, like I say, he ended up going elsewhere. But that would have been the ideal replacement for a player like Quinones, to be honest. But we have suffered a little bit in that manner, unfortunately, this season. But it seems to have worked out well for us. Like I say, we've managed to keep the core of the team together, and in doing so, it seems to be working in our favour. We're not going to be able to change the left back. Van Rooij is purely a right back, so we're not going to take the chance there. Yes, it's 3-0, but I think we've done quite well here. Gary Rapper and Almasi have come off for Cudjoe and McLeod just to see the game out. And at 3-0, to be honest, I'm very impressed with that performance. It's been a very good game, very good result, and we are looking very good at the moment in the league. Let's have a look. So that's 5 wins out of 5, and I'm pretty sure only Celtic are also doing the same as what we're doing. They've won 5 out of 5 as well. And despite, oh, so Celtic haven't played their 5th game of the season yet. So looking at that already, St Johnstone have got a game in hand, but we're 5 points ahead of Rangers, and then we're a further 3 points ahead, sorry, of Hearts and Hibernian. So we're doing very well in that manner. To get that gap early doors is great. It's a case of maintaining it afterwards. And we've got a week to go before we get to the Rangers game away. So what I'll do, I'll go through that week off camera, and then we'll come back for that game, and hopefully we can continue this brilliant form that we've started. But as we all know, Rangers, one of the toughest teams in Scotland out of them and Celtic. It'll be a tough ask, but let's hope we can continue this fantastic winning start to the season. Well, here we go then for the game away against Rangers. And as you can see from the league tables, Celtic actually lost their last game. And currently, St Johnstone are our closest rivals. They're away against Hibernian in at the same time that we play Rangers. So certainly plenty to play for. We've won 5 of 5. Can we get our first win against Rangers since we came to Dundee United? It'd be a massive test, that is for sure, but let's hope we can do something here. We might make one or two changes, but largely I want to keep things pretty much the same, to be honest. Um, right, there you are. So we're pretty much keeping the same team, apart from there is going to be, it's a bit of a risk, but there is going to be a debut at left back for the Portuguese wing back Helder Sarr. It's going to be his first game since signing for the club. Like I say, he has had a slight injury since signing as well, but he has been playing okay in the reserves as well, so hopefully he is reasonably match sharp and hopefully he'll have a good game today. Dick Beraku is actually right-footed, so I don't really like playing him at left back. When he's played there, he has been okay, but obviously there's just that slight uncertainty, and I don't really like having that in the back of my mind. So Helder Sarr is going to come in for his debut. He isn't the best left back, obviously, that we've got. Dennis Sirkin is still injured though, but Helder Sarr's position is a left back. So hopefully, like I say, he can come in on his debut and get a good start to his Dundee United career. Rangers have got a very strong starting 11, but they've had a very rough start this season. And it's going to be a tough ask, this. We're staying in the positive mentality because with the way that we've been playing, I think that we're in a position where we're capable of challenging Rangers and Celtic. The only issue is how strong is our defence going to be in these circumstances. So it's going to be tough. We knew that anyway, but we'll see how we get on. And Harry Winks plays it into Davis here, who looks over the top for Diarra, and there's a huge error here, and Diarra has actually put it in. I don't know if it took a deflection off O'Donnell or anything, but Stashevski completely missed it, and it's 1-0 to Rangers here. Diarra with what looked like, I don't know if it was a complete lob, whether he won a header or what, but it is 1-0 to Rangers, and Helder Sarr has picked up an early yellow card, so that isn't ideal either. Schmidt's doing well to beat Almasi in the air, as Rangers pick it up defensively with Ridvan into Winks. Now Davis into Raskin. Diarra, they're moving the ball superbly here, and Morelos is in behind, and Morelos makes it 2-0, and they're moving the ball very, very well here, Rangers. We're not looking good at all in this game, and our unbeaten start to the season looks set to come to a very abrupt end here. Rangers dominating proceedings so far, and I don't know what happened for the first goal, but that second goal was just sheer quality. To be honest, they moved the ball really well, and Morelos finished it superbly as well. Polidoro couldn't do anything there, but he's been doubled upon by Raskin and Schmitz, and Kesgin's done well there. Almasi couldn't quite latch onto the pass from Jordan James, and Pereira is going to be challenging with Morelos, and he does well. As at Kesgin back to Quinones, Helder Sarr inside back to Kesgin. Now Polidoro. Almasi holds it up well. Plays it back to centre-back Quinones. Helder Sarr into Polidoro. We're moving the ball quite well here, but continuing to be very patient. As that Kesgin's ended up out wide left here. Can he get a cross in? Yes, he can. And Guerra Rapper's there at the far post. It's a very good header, and we have a goal back here. Certainly much improved in that move. We moved the ball really well. And Azak Kesgin again proving how instrumental he is being at the moment in that midfield with a brilliant assist to the far post for Gary Rapper. Stashevski with the goal kick, looking towards the big man Almasi, who wins the header, and Kesgin does well to beat Arasqueta. Gary Rapper now moving down this right hand side. Opportunity to cross maybe here, but he plays it all the way back to Pereira. The opportunity clearly didn't prove itself to be quite right in that situation. Quinones holding on to it, looks to play it long. Gary Rapper does well to get there. Can he play it back? He finds John James. Almasi was there. 2 deflections, and the shot didn't eventually just didn't get through, unfortunately. But all of a sudden, we seem to have woken up toward the end of this first half. It's not looking quite as one-sided as I thought it was going to be. Overall, not a bad first half. We're certainly being competitive here against one of the better sides in the division, supposedly. And at half time, yes, we found ourselves 2-1 down, but I think we're playing quite well. there's not really an awful lot that's going badly at the moment. We'll just try and encourage the players a little bit, saying that we can get our revenge on them. Defensively, it's been a bit suspect. O'Donnell obviously was at fault for the goal. Almasi's not been in the game, unfortunately, and Polidoro again having a struggling performance. But overall, Polidoro's had a good start to the season, so I'm not entirely sure why he suddenly dropped off the pace. As Rangers make a good clearance there from our set piece, and Morelos is just charging forward with it here. He hasn't got an awful lot of support, but in behind him he has got options. And Ridvan looks over the top for Ryan Kent, and Ashcroft's brought him down. It's a very cheap penalty to give away that, and it looks like it's going to be checked by VAR, but it tends to stand once a penalty's been given, and it has been awarded. Ryan Kent brought down by Ashcroft, and Morelos, who's already scored once, of course, against us today, with the penalty, converts it. It's 3-1, and he has a very bad habit of scoring against us, Morelos, unfortunately. And we are set for our first league defeat of the season. There is still 40 minutes left, of course, plenty of time to go, but we've had one or two players just not picking their game up for this match, and unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to do a lot today. We're going to make a couple of changes. Unfortunately, I mean, Almasi is such a key player for us, but he's just not been in the game. We're going to bring Lulic on as well for Polidoro. He has been poor today. We're going to give Rory McLeod an opportunity up front. Heldesar's been booked. Dig Beraku is going to come on for him, and Quinones has been booked again, so we're going to bring our captain, Ross Graham, on as well. We'll leave it at that. In terms of our midfield, apart from O'Donnell, we've actually had some good performances in there from the likes of James Kesgin and Gary Rapper. But unfortunately, in games like this against Rangers and Celtic, we need everybody to play really well, and it's just not quite clicked today. But like I say, midfield, not done too bad, and Kesgin again, very instrumental in the game, certainly proving his selection so far. John James looks like he's taken a knock, so we're going to bring Craig Moore on for him as our last substitution. And Isaac Kesgin with a set piece here toward Pereira, who wins the header. It's just over the crossbar. Well worked move, but unfortunately not on target. And that could have certainly proven to be an iffy last 10 minutes if we'd have managed to get that goal. Ridvan and Diarra Skater exchanging passes. Hartman looking toward the far post. Dig Beraku finding Lulic, and it's cleared, but only as far as Lozano, who charges down from right wing back, plays it in, and it's a brilliant save in the end from Stashevsky. And Dig Beraku does well to clear for Gary Rapper, but we need support, and Ridvan wins it off him, and it remains as is. Just realised that that's on match stats, even though we've got a set of match stats on there already. So we look to continue here. There's 5 minutes remaining in the match. We've certainly lost this game. It has to be confirmed. St Johnstone have just equalised against Hibernian here. We're getting yellow cards left, right and centre now as well. And St Johnstone have actually turned their game around against Hibernian, scoring 2 late goals. So they have now gone atop of the league. Looking at the overall match stats, we had 40% of the ball. Not ideal. But in terms of chance creation, Rangers just took 3 of their chances and we only took 1. But we could have very easily had a couple of extra goals there. So I'm not too disappointed. The fact that we've had a few yellow cards toward the end of the game just because of frustration isn't ideal. We need to try and reel that in a little bit. But overall, it wasn't an awful performance really. Defensively, yes, we weren't great, unfortunately, but Morelos just battered us, and the penalty conceded by Ashcroft was one of the goals. An error from O'Donnell was one of the goals, which was a bit of a fluke as well. So 2 of the goals could have been avoided. So in effect, we've probably drawn that game. So it's not been too bad, to be quite honest. Yes, our unbeaten run has ended, but it wasn't going to last forever. We Dundee United, of course, we're not Celtic or Rangers, but we are still above Rangers and Celtic. Celtic with a game in hand, which if they win, they'll go above us on goal difference anyway. But we're doing okay. I mean, we're 7 points clear of 5th place. The top 4 is where we want to be, of course. We've qualified for European competition for this season. Obviously, it's not gone to plan, but that's got to be the target every year now. We've got to be hitting top 4. And as disappointing as that defeat was, There were certainly positives to take from it. Hildesard didn't have a good game, but we were 9 games unbeaten in the league, so I take heart from that, to be honest. That's included the last few games of last season, of course. We've done really well. So in terms of the schedule looking forward, we've got Livingston in the Cup coming up next with Inverness away. Inverness with a promoted side, so I am hoping for a good result in that one. I think what I'll probably do, I'll come back for. I think we'll want to come back for the Celtic game. Celtic games are definite. Whether it'll be Ross County or Motherwell, I'm not entirely sure, but we'll definitely be back for the Celtic game. I'll see how I feel. If we get through against Livingston in the Sports Cup, that might come into effect here as well. So we'll see what happens, but the Celtic game is going to be a definite. So until next time, guys, thank you very much for all your support. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It's all greatly appreciated. I will see you all next time, and this is Big Will signing away.